from a young age, I've always been writing short stories, and discovering that I wanted to be a filmmaker, it only felt natural to want to write my stories as well and have full control over the stories I'm telling. I was first exposed to, I guess, what most would consider classic films at a really young age. Instead of like putting on kids shows for me, you basically just put on Turner Classic Movies. That was basically all I watched. So like now I have like a lot of friends who will talk about old kids television shows, and I just have no idea what's going on. I guess at the time I kind of loved and hated it, because I'd be like, oh, another stupid silent film. But by the end of it, especially with the Chaplin ones, I just discovered like such an affinity for them. Finally, when I became a teenager, I started trying to find my own taste, and I got like really interested in like rule breakers and the people who took that old cinema that I grew up with, changed it in their own ways. So discovering that there was like a whole new world out there of cinema that I couldn't even comprehend yet kind of like blew my mind. My dad was like really keenly interested in me pursuing hockey, baseball, lacrosse. And I remember like even when I was young, my dad would lie about on the forms of what my age was so I could be able to like start playing. That interest in sports kind of carried on. By the time my freshman year came around, I had just finished my second surgery and I got a new set of injuries, so I was gonna have to get a third surgery. I made the really hard decision to just quit hockey, which was really tough on the entire family because it affected my dad a lot, and it kind of caused a split in our relationship. With quitting hockey and lacrosse and baseball, it kind of freed up a lot of time, and it was time I probably should have used to do more schoolwork, but instead I used it to kind of go back into cinema, because that was the one thing that really gave me comfort day to day. And then my dad would eventually come sit down, watch them with me, we'd talk about them. I'd watch some old movies, and we'd sort of like kind of reconnect the bond between us through cinema. It was probably after I watched There Will Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson, that ending just got me, I don't know, it just snapped something in my brain, and I was just like, I have to do this. I can't picture myself doing anything else. It really came down to what's the next move? Should I go to film school? Should I try and stay around the New York area and just try and do as much as possible? Because I was already working with my uncle on some like off-Broadway theater things, so I had like some connections there, but none really in the film industry, which is ultimately where I wanted to end up. And ultimately, I chose the school that would be the most financially available. And also Chicago it seemed kind of like a middle ground between New York and LA, but also kind of like a foreign place that I wasn't exactly used to. I think ultimately I'm happy, and just like, I remember the first time just like sitting in a classroom and having like a teacher talk about film, because we didn't have those in my high school. I grew up in a very small town, and like for those type of classes we had like woodworking and programming. None of them had to do with film, so just hearing a professor talk about film was like a really happy moment for me, because I'd never experienced anything like it. Just learning film always came from me in front of my laptop screen or in front of the TV, just like taking notes or just staring at it in crazy fascination. Just to be able to like come out of film school with not only a lot of experience, but kind of like my own voice, because I feel like anybody at the end of the day can make a film, but I think what really separates it from the rest and what can make a film truly good is your own voice, because nobody really thinks like you.